Are you working in research, trying to do the best science you can?
Are you a team leader, a research assistant, postdoc, PhD student, or any other type of scientist?
Are you looking for a place where you can sit, relax, and listen to inspiring people?
Well, we have good news for you. You've just found what you're looking for.
Hi everybody, my name is Renaud
And I am Jonathan Weitzman.
Welcome to the Lonely Pipette,
helping scientists
do better science.
You're listening to The Lonely Pipette with Renaud and Jonathan Weitzman. We're here to wrap up season 2 and promise that there will be a season 3.
Yes.
Will there be a season 3?
Yes, there will be a season 3. We want this.
Okay. But maybe what's new, because people haven't heard from us a long time. So maybe we should tell everyone that we do the recording like way in advance. So we don't record every week, right? We record we batch record. So actually the recordings were done a while ago. But what have you been up to over the long period of season 2?
Yes, and maybe before to answer this question, we need also to explain why we do batching. It's because you have your own activity as a researcher, director.
I forgot.
Yeah, I have also my own activity as a science communicator. So we needed to batch those recordings in order to have consistent content.
That's not quite true, because the first season we batched because I was convinced that if we didn't have 10 episodes, we wouldn't have a season. So that sort of makes sure that we don't lose steam during the season. Yeah,
and here we are.
We made it to the end of season 2. So season 2, actually, we did have a change in frequency. Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the season.
Yeah. So that's not. So we switched. I hope people have realized we've switched from every 2 weeks to once a month. Honestly, I would love to release one every week.
I would love to.
But as Renaud said, we have another job, 2 other jobs, or 3 other jobs, and lots of other jobs. So we've gone once a month.
We didn't have any feedback about this, and maybe no feedback is good feedback. Because people maybe understand that we want it to be consistent and we want to keep going producing episodes. And we want to produce the season 3. So
we should also tell everyone that they're always recorded by Zoom.
Yeah.
And actually this is really rare that we're sitting in the same room.
Yeah.
We're actually sitting in your homemade studio in Antony, which is a suburb of Paris. And but actually normally we only see each other by Zoom.
Yeah,
I'd forgotten what you really do.
It's a pleasure to meet you again.
So what have you been up to? What's so the season 2 started like almost a year ago. How's the year been? What have you been up to?
Well, so my year, because it's going to be a year when this episode is going to be released, was split between the Lonely Pipettes, so project like this that we are pushing aside of our jobs, and my many jobs, many hats that I have. Because I'm a science communicator, so I'm producing podcasts, I'm producing videos and shows. So I'm been pushing my project called Cell Words that is going super well. Now we are even after a documentary, after an immersive show. Now we have what we call a cinema experience, where we go into theater, cinema, and we basically do a show of 1 hour and a half to valorize this content, this documentary, and have a place to meet the public.
So if people have forgotten, it's basically a show of cell biology.
A cell biology.
Microscopy images.
Yeah, and so we use those images of microscopy to create art and science show. And so this cinema experience is the documentary and exchange with the researcher locally. So we did it in several places in France, but also in Switzerland. We aim to go to other countries in Europe. And the nice point of this show is that we end up with a live concert where the music is synchronized with the images of microscopy. And so people rediscover the images and cell biology through a completely emotional section where people just forget a little bit about the knowledge, about everything, and they just reconnect with the...
Yeah, so it's not a documentary about cell biology. It's really just the beauty of these images, right?
It's the beauty of the images, and from time to time you learn a little bit about the cells and their behavior.
But it's not a class.
It's not a class at all. It's just designed to raise the awareness, arouse curiosity about those thematics.
And then you have a new project, right? A new documentary. Can you talk about that? Or
yes.
Is it very secret?
No, it's not secret. Again, we with the same team. So there are two other science communicators with me on those projects. And so with the same team that is called Explorers, we have this YouTube channel where the documentary is published. And so we are preparing now the second one of Cell Worlds, but we are also preparing another documentary that is completely different, where we gather exploration of abandoned places and neuroscience. So we bring with us naive people into those unknown places to challenge their brain through exploration of the place, and through the emotions and the reaction of the naive people in front of those buildings or the experiment we are doing with them. We use those emotions to explain what happened in the brain.
So you have like a science advisor who gives you the neuroscience background?
So we worked on science publication, and we reached out some scientists to be sure that we were understanding well the neuroscience behind. So for a few episodes, yes, we have kind of reviewer that makes sure that we are not saying stupid things.
Great.
What about you?
I'm running the lab. So in addition to being, I now call myself a science communicator. So but I also run a lab. So we have a couple of papers submitted. So there's always that rush to get the paper submitted before the summer, and hope that it gets past the editor. So we're there. So we have papers submitted and grants submitted, and my team has received the label, was selected by the Fondation de Recherche Médicale, so the National Foundation for Medical Research. So that's good, and that's allowed us to attract. So we had a recruiting session in the fall. So I don't know when this is going to go out, but hopefully in September and October we will be hosting 2 new graduate students and 2 new postdocs, which is exciting. So the team is growing. So that's good. Always interesting to see new people come and how it's going to change the dynamics of the lab. People are always coming in and always leaving. So that's been good. And then going more to conferences. So we're going to talk about that a bit today. But so yes, going back to scientific conferences. This is like whole COVID really going back. So I was 2 weeks ago. I was in a very, very big meeting. I just forgotten how big these meetings are. so that was interesting. And and then I think I've been on the radio again, giving talks and lots of teaching, lots of exciting thinking about teaching and new ways of teaching. Okay. So yeah, things are good. Things are good. Things are busy.
Do you see yourself this year into managing and stabilizing the lab, or are you scaling up?
So we're scaling up a bit, and which is good. Yeah. So
slowly.
I mean, I like the lab is always small, which is sort of optimal for me. So not more than 10.
Okay.
I think. So actually, there was a paper published in Science, I think about 2 years ago, where they did an analysis, a sort of science of science. So what is the best? What it gives the most creative science? And I think the conclusion, I may be misquoting, but I think the conclusion was that that big teams are more productive, but small teams are more innovative.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I mean, there's lots of ways to interpret that, but we need to keep it small because of money and because of the difficulty of recruiting people. I'm managing that with all the other things that I'm trying to do.
Well, I'm experimenting a little bit this now because I'm working with more and more people. As science communicators, now we are gathering around a structure, an association that is called Exploratoire. It's a French association, but we aim also to work with European projects. And I'm facing those problems that we are exploring actually in the lab. It's how to manage people, how to find the right chemistry between them, and I'm struggling so much.
The chemistry is really so. I mean, some of our guests have talked about that. The chemistry is really hard. I can't remember. Was it Susan Gass who said you know when you feel something's wrong, just take someone for a drink?
So all of them say that.
So we've had someone blew up the microwave in the lab. So that was one of the events in the last couple of months, and getting the chemistry right and explaining, being able to listen to people where their needs change. People at the beginning of their PhD, at the end of their PhD, their needs change, and it's important to find a way that people can articulate that. So sometimes we get it right. Sometimes I listen to our guests and really apply it, and it goes really well. And sometimes I forget the things I hear, and it doesn't go so well. So yeah. It's the lab is fun. It's going well. So yeah, that's good.
Are you able to pick one of the most memorable or something that you really liked from this season 2?
Yeah. So I was thinking back. So first of all, season 2, I think we decided to keep the format and most of the questions. And one thing that we did that was really different is in season 1, we really focused on, I think, friends of mine who are in molecular and cell biology. And that was, and someone's several fans or several listeners. I don't know if we have listeners and fans, but anyway, several listeners questioned whether we'd be stepping out of beyond friends in molecular biology, and we have done that. So this was a conscious effort to step out of our comfort zone and to bring in people who are not from our community. So we had Jen, who's a chemist, so that was great. We had Thomas, who's a philosopher. So this is, I think, people are probably not expecting that. And we had several people who have either in industry, so like Andre, people like Steve, who's an academic but has been very involved in creating companies, and we even had Jenny, who went to a company and came back. So, yeah. So lots more thinking. So again, like we said this before, we don't want to be about careers. It's not a careers podcast, but it is really interesting to see how entrepreneurs handle things differently and how academics very involved in companies do that differently. And Jenny's also she's a writer, so she came back. So I think we really got a very diverse group of people. My favorite, I have to be really honest, it's not a surprise. My favorite was talking to my brother. I listened to it afterwards and I was like, I'm very, very quiet partly because I was concerned that having two voices that sound the same would confuse people, but also I just wanted to learn to be a better listener, so to really step back. But this was very fun to me. He's a very special person, and it was really great to listen to him, and he's a fantastic advocate of the podcast. So I should say one of the things I did this year is that my brother's lab celebrated an anniversary of his lab. So. And they invited me to go over as a guest speaker, and I saw the people who've gone through his lab in California and his lab in Philadelphia, and clearly they've all been told they have to listen to the So that was great. So that was one of the conferences I went to this year. Small conference, but it was really great. So yeah. So what about you, Renaud? Do you have a favorite?
Well, there are some very special moments that happened with this season. I think it's so maybe we should tell also that unfortunately there is one episode that will never exist because we recorded it, and unfortunately we were not able to get back to the...
Yeah. There was also one that we almost had to record twice.
Yeah.
Because we thought we'd lost the audio. And then we set up to record a second time. And then during the process of setting up, we realized that we actually had the recording.
We had the recording. So that's good. That was the episode of Elfege. Almost to know.
So Elfege had kept it on his computer, but we didn't have the right copy. So, I think it's normal, we're scientists. It's normal that you do things and they don't all end up getting published, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
that's life. It will happen again, probably. We had two scary moments. One of them was with a good success at the end, but the other one... what I really liked, I'm really proud that we went outside this circle and we went to meet those other profiles, especially because I think that I didn't expect that much from the podcast and the episode with Thomas, but I was really surprised how much it gives to you in the way of thinking differently, the research.
So Thomas Prader, he's a philosopher of immunology.
Yeah,
those people who haven't listened yet.
Oh yeah, listen to
go and listen.
And you won't regret it because it really helped you to see how, whatever the stage of your career you are, you could maybe think differently, how to build questions around your topics or think about your topics. And this is something that I really liked. And I'm thinking about one episode. So all of them are really good. Again, it's really complicated. No, I think they all bring different things again. So I'm also quite happy that for season 2, we were not stepping in the same path than the season 1. So I really believe that the season 2 has brought something different. And there were also, I'm thinking about this episode of Les Trails that was a little bit different.
So this is the one about conferences.
Yeah.
Why do people go to conferences?
Yeah, so it's, I was invited in by the Fondation Les Trails.
It's a very special conference for those people who've never been.
Yeah.
So Les Trails, so this is a small conference in a very
remote place.
It's very remote. Right. And it's about giving people a space to be together. It's invited only.
You decide the type of conference you want to do there. Actually, this is one researcher that can apply to the Fondation Les Trails to create a conference remotely in this place. So we didn't plan to have an episode there. It was just through the invitation of the researcher Jean-Léon Maître that I went there. I went there not in the purpose of creating an episode, but when I saw the way people were interacting and the way they were asking questions to each other, I really saw the Lonely Pipette podcast happening in real. So that's why I asked 4 people of this meeting to just join in a very different format that we tried that was received like the other episodes. But it was interesting because mixing 4 voices in one episode was a challenge as a content creator. But it was also interesting because we could ask one big question and see how 4 different voices answer to this.
So the question of conferences is a really important one. So
why we go to conferences?
Yeah, why do we go to conferences and what type of conferences? So this is a very small conference. I was just at an enormous European Federation of Microbiology Society. So it's a big meeting in Hamburg. And it did make me, so we forget how important conferences are because a lot of it is like a real live Lonely Pipette moment because you get to meet lots of people that some of whom you know from their papers, some of whom you've never met, and around the science you get to ask more personal questions about recruiting and about the way people do science. So part of the original idea for the Lonely Pipette was that it was like the discussion you might have in a bar at a meeting with a mentor.
Well, anyways, people are really interested. They should go to listen to this episode.
Okay, so you should listen to that episode. And also, we'll talk about workshops in a minute. But the first workshop that I did around the Lonely Pipette content was at a meeting that I organized where I wanted to have a session on mentoring. Mm-hmm. And I think all conferences should have a session on mentoring. So the conference I went to in Hamburg last week had a session on sort of mentoring and supervision, but it also had, which was really good, I thought. And it also had a session on science communication where they said, then now we're going to do a practical session and we can create a podcast. And I was like, oh, I've already done that. So, meeting, I think these societies are realizing the importance of discussions about mentoring and discussions about science communication.
So during this season 2, while publishing the episodes, you had the chance to organize this event, and you did the first workshop around the topics of the Lonely Pipettes. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and how we ended up building what we are going to do?
Yes. So from the beginning, there's been a question whether the types of questions that we're asking, whether they should be restricted to a podcast format, and whether the Lonely Pipette can't play a role in a broader discussion about mentoring, diversity, science communication, storytelling. And I had committed myself that every time I organize a scientific event, there will be a discussion about mentoring, because I think it's really, really important that there is a public discussion about people's experiences in the lab and about the scientists, not just the science. So the question was how to do that. So the first one I did was in a meeting that I organized with my colleague Sweden Mechkan and a colleague from Grenoble, Nicolas, which was a meeting about methylation and signaling. So lysine methylation, very technical meeting, but trying to build a community of people who don't necessarily go to conferences together. And I said, I'm not going to give a talk at the meeting. I just want an hour to talk about mentoring.
Okay.
So that's on the schedule. It just said, Jonathan will talk for an hour about mentoring. And when I got up, I could see some people sort of sneak out of the room. They were afraid. But most people didn't dare. And so what I did was, so this was very experimental, but it was very inspired by the podcast. So I took questions that we asked and I printed them out on pieces of paper and I cut them into cards. So everyone got one card with one question, which is the type of question that we're asking. And there were 100 people in the room. And we just asked everyone to read the question that they got and just give their own answer or comment. And we were not going to have a debate. We were not going to have ping pong, not people tell them they're wrong or they're right. And these people were graduate students, master's students, postdocs, heads of labs, heads of institutes, so people from all over the world, and just each person, and we just had 100 voices discussing the types of things we discussed on the Lonely Pipette. But of course, no one felt lonely because there were 100 people there. It was amazing. It was really, really good, and it was really interesting how different people from different cultures and different points in their careers responded to the same question. It was really good. And then there was a coffee break, and the discussion continued in the coffee break. And several people admitted that they thought it was going to be really, really boring to have a session on mentoring, but they had really enjoyed it. And it was great. Everyone shared something, very much in the spirit of the Lonely Pipette. So this inspired the idea to do Lonely Pipette workshops. So I've done a couple in very small format in my institute
to try.
Yeah, trying different things around like a sandwich lunch with students. We did a couple of those. They were really good. There were people who know each other very well. And then we did a workshop in Liège. So we've now been contacted by people beyond our immediate circle. And so what did we do in Liège?
In the same spirit than the podcast, which is like increasing the academic environment and how we could just help scientists do better science. It was a consortium of PhD students that contacted us to join their event to create a workshop. So they asked us to do something about science and storytelling, which are the things we are doing, you and I. So we created this unique workshop to bring them a way to meet the power and the question around storytelling in science. but also to exercise. So you and I, we both do several projects with storytelling to talk about science. So we decided to just bring together our different experiences to create this workshop. It was the first try. It was the first time we were doing the workshop together. It was a very, how can I say that, a very emotional and a unique moment for me because as your mentee, I was now stepping in front of the people with you.
We knew where we were going, but it wasn't scripted. It was great to work together. And the students there were great. They really played along. And we had, there was a lot of noise, which I always like when there's a lot of talking and exchange. There was a lot of exchange. And we hope that we made people think a little bit more about their science and about how to share their science.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good. It was good. I hope we're going to be doing more of those.
Yeah. So maybe you can tell people that we thought about several of them, and so they are ready to be tested and to be done out.
Yeah, and for anyone's interested in doing any kind of workshop scenario with us, that'd be great. Yeah. And you also did a masterclass, right? Mm-hmm. About science communication for a meeting for young scientists in Paris.
I think it's a really good thing that we have this type of reflection about how we do and how we communicate, how we do better science, but not only the experiment. As you said before, if anybody that listens to this podcast is hosting an event or do something small or big, just contact us because we will be so happy to bring this already made workshop for you because it was fun. It was really fun. And some of them, of the people there, they started to listen to our podcast.
Yeah. We
had a very nice rating on Apple Podcasts from one of them.
Okay.
Season 2 was also marked by this new experiment we are running because it is true. Our work as creators of Not Only Pipette is something that we give a little bit as volunteer.
Yeah, so it does take a lot of time, but it also, I mean, we're not making a begging plea, but it also costs money.
Yeah, and so we received enough supporting message to say let's try to open a page where people can just go, and if they feel like they had a great conversation with us through the podcast, they can just buy us a coffee there. So it's the same spirit. I really liked this platform because
I always buy your coffee.
It's just like, it's the price of a coffee.
Yeah.
You like the moment?
What, like a little espresso, really, really, always like a cappuccino.
It's cheaper than a coffee in Paris, for sure.
It's cheaper than taking us out for a coffee. You can just buy us an online coffee.
Exactly.
Okay. Right, that's good. But if anyone wants to have a real coffee with us, they can also do that. I drink so much coffee every day. Even if all the listeners bought me a coffee, we'd still keep coming back for more coffee. Great. So yeah, so people can support us.
Yeah.
And in any other way. Also sharing is a great way.
Yeah. Sharing is always the best way to
tell your friends, tell your mother, tell anyone to listen to the podcast. Okay, great. What about season 3?
Yeah.
I mean, season 3. Will there be a season 3?
Yeah, there will be a season 3 as people has noticed.
Will you be there to ask the origin story?
Yeah, I will be there to ask origin story.
We have a very long wish list for guests.
Yeah.
So
there's 3 pages.
Yeah, we have. If anyone wants to be on it, they can join the bottom of the line. We even have on the guest list. There were even people who said that they would come back.
Yeah.
Season 2.
But now
they didn't come back, and they said they come back for season 3. So there are a few of favorites that we keep trying. I'm not going to say who they are in case they're in season 4. So we have a long wish list for guests, and we're also really open to suggestions. So I don't want to ask who's going to be in season 3, but I did have another way of asking a question, which is if you could think of all the people alive or dead who you would want to interview. So just think live. So anyone alive or dead, who would be some of the people you would like to sit down for an hour to hear the way they think about?
I have a pure admiration for researchers that just put themselves in very different situations to study the world and their science. So I told you about my wish one day to go to Antarctica and exchange with one of the researchers there, or Xiang is one of those explorers that has a very different way to approach science in the methodology, probably in the organization of their life, in their work. Do you have?
I mean, everyone will laugh, but I would love to sit down with Conrad Waddington to talk about the origins of epigenetics. I would have liked to have met Darwin. Him talking about. Yeah, I think Darwin would have been one of my choices. I did meet Francois Jacob, and it would have been good to have Jacob and Monod, those sort of couple. So and people from history, I think there's so many people that I think there's such a great format. Mm-hmm. So it's very intimate, and you get to really talk to someone in here. And I also think we're creating a sort of living archive of the way scientists think about their job, which would have been great to hear from scientists of the past. Mm-hmm. So hear Darwin talk about his concerns about publishing and his concerns about sharing his ideas and his concerns about, getting it right. I don't know whether he recruited much. I don't think he had a team, but so yeah, hearing some of those would be important resource for science. So, yeah.
I get the sense maybe why you want also to. I mean, I would love to interview those people, historical people, maybe in a way that. Today I have the feeling that we are in the path of creating more interdisciplinary research. But there were moments when you think about those people where they were able to dig into several topics from physics to chemistry and biology.
Yeah, I think it's good that people are not in little boxes with their discipline written on the cover, but that they can step out and they can move from one field to another and back, and I think that's what I think this amazing group of people have shown that, and I think it's something we want to continue to explore. Yeah,
great. So season 3 is going to happen. How people can help us? Sharing the podcast.
Sharing is really important. Yeah. So if everyone shares with 2 friends, and those 2 friends share with 2 friends, then
yeah, and even suggesting. I don't know if people are afraid, but if they have questions or big themes they want to explore, maybe they should not be afraid to share it with us on Twitter or by replying to our newsletter, because it could also give us some specific topics we could.
It is important for people to sign up for the newsletter. Yeah, the mailing list is really important because that's a resource that we have to keep in touch with.
Yeah, and this is also the only.
And we don't know what's going to happen to Twitter, right?
Exactly. That's why. I mean, this is the only resource we are completely in control. And basically all the news and details of the news, because Twitter, we keep really the message short. But all the news we give them on this newsletter. So, and people can just reply to the mail. We receive it. We respond to everything. Okay. Just do it.
Good.
So that's good for this season 2. Yeah. Final.
You have to edit the final.
Yeah.
So you said that editing has become much easier, actually.
Yeah, and maybe it could be also one of the topics of our future episode. It's because of AI. AI is reshaping the way we work, the way we use tools. It will probably reshape the way people do research, the way people do, bibliography or just write papers. I don't know. We'll see. So AI is also coming into the production system. But yeah, we are also currently thinking about maybe expanding or having someone working with us to edit, to get us more free time to create content and not only editing it. Yeah. Do you want to have a final word?
I'm just really proud that we create this resource that sticks to its mission to help scientists do better science. I really do feel that this is an important resource to help, and a community to help people do better science. And if this leads to workshops or masterclasses or anything that we can do, so we have other ideas as well. That'd be great. And so what started as this rather modest COVID project is now taken on a life of its own. It's great. So I sometimes meet people who say, "Oh, I know your voice." So that's great. Yeah, I think it's bigger than that. It's been downloaded 70,000 times, which I think is fantastic. So I don't think I have a single one of my research papers that has been downloaded 70,000 times. So I think it's great that we've reached people like that, and it's this phrase, helping scientists do better science, is my it's my mission. So that's what I try and do in the lab and teaching in the classroom and now on air. So yeah, that's great. So Renaud, if you could meet yourself 10 years earlier, what advice would you give to yourself?
Change nothing.
That's good.
No, it's just
no regrets.
No, until now I'm super happy. I had a lot of struggles while doing the PhD, after getting the PhD, but they all helped me to better realize what I wanted to do, but also and mostly what I didn't want to do. So I knew that, and this is also why the Lonely Pipette is also a project of heart, and this is why we are pushing it again and again, and this is why I don't want to abandon it. Because it's also a project that answers our question. I feel that it has sense for the people that listen to it. I think this is a resource that can help the people in the same way that it has helped me.
So someone asked me recently, who's it for? And I said, it's for me.
It's for us. Yeah, it's for us.
Yeah, that I think the best part of it has been sitting down with you and these people. But the real the real motivation was to be able to ask these questions and get the privilege to sit down and listen to these amazing people. So.
And I should say also that I'm very proud of us keeping doing this podcast, because seeing how now we can travel into real place to bring those reflections, those thoughts, those discussions with people at different stage of their career. For me, it's really the sign that whatever happened, the Lonely Pipette made is proof that it can be useful to not only us, after all, but also the people. So,
does your mother listen?
My mother don't listen to it, but I have to say, my father is looking everything, and he always told me, I don't understand anything, but I can feel that it's working.
I'm proud of you anyway. And what is epigenetics?
No, I love this. So,
à bientôt.
À bientôt.
So that's it for this episode. Thank you for joining us at the Lonely Pipette.
We hope that you learnt something new, that something resonated with your own experiences, or that you just enjoyed the science.
Let us know your thoughts on Twitter at Lonely Pipette, and please share it with your friends in the lab. If you want to join our community, you can subscribe to the Lonely Pipette mailing list or mail us by following the link available on our Twitter profile. You will receive the next episodes directly in your mailbox. How cool is that?
Stay tuned for the next show, and remember, you might feel like a lonely pipette, but it doesn't mean you're alone. Tips from the Lonely Pipette can help you to do better science.
À bientôt!
À bientôt!